Hello and welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
And I am Stacey Early Wine. And we are back together again for a little bit of time.
Yes.
Going to put out some more fun information.
Yeah, we have an interesting show today, as always.
We do have an interesting show and something I've always been curious about. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But so what else is going on? School's back in session. Mm-hmm. Jim's volleyball. I think he's got his first volleyball match today.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I got in the car this morning, the temperature in my car said it was 64 degrees outside. Do you know how happy that made me?
It's insanity, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it truly is. How do we go from 100 and,
whatever, 9, 10, I don't know what it was last week.
I don't know either, but it's crazy.
Yeah, 64 makes me happy. The 50s are my favorite temperatures, though. Mm-hmm. Like 50 degrees to 59 degrees.
Is it?
Makes me happy.
I like the 70s. I can do the 70s. I like
they're fine.
I like a good I like a good flip-flop. Sweatshirt and flip-flops.
Oh, really?
I know that's so weird, right?
Yeah. I don't ever wear flip-flops because they hurt my feet.
You don't, and I can't. I wear them all winter long. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm going to the shop, I'll have my regular shoes on, mm-hmm. but then I'll change into flip-flops. The only thing that does make my feet and legs hurt throughout the day. I wear those Crocs. I have these Crocs, and man, I love them. They're the greatest thing. I do. Not like ugly Crocs, like my mom. My mom was obsessed with Crocs, but they're real cute, and they've got. A little bling on them, and they're, I like to go, through my toes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But no, I have to have that. But boy, it is really feeling like fall out there.
It is, and I love fall.
I love fall. Fall's probably, fall's my favorite, mm-hmm. and then summer. I've always said if I could have 7 months of October, then I'd take 5 of July.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm not a real big spring fan, and I don't
like spring either. Everybody always just goes on and on about spring and they love spring, and I'm like, in Clay County, spring is usually not that pretty. In everyone's mind, spring is beautiful, but in all honesty, if all of you guys actually kept track of what it felt like every spring, it is rainy, it dreary. Is cold, it is dreary, and then all of the sudden you have 1 week of nice weather, which is apparently the only week that anybody ever remembers, and then after that it's boiling hot.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I don't like spring.
I guess it's the dead coming alive. I don't know. Yeah.
Give me fall and winter.
Yeah, I'll take fall and summer. Yeah, I love it. But have you been shopping any? Have you been to clothing stores or anything? What's the fashions this year?
I don't know, and I also just do my own thing. I don't really care what anyone else is wearing.
I don't either. I never. I never have too much either, but I was always it seems like whenever you walk in, it's either going to be all mustard yellow or it's all heavy, or browns.
I really haven't.
I'm a classic black girl myself.
I like classic black.
I like black. I just can't take it. Yeah, I love it.
No, but I feel like the whole fashion industry for women our age for the past 5 years or more, the whole boutique look, the whole even lines at places like Maurice's or Cato's, it's all these kind of washed out colors that are sort of grayed out, neutral tones, but maybe just a little darker, or lavender with a little grayish tint to it, and the blush flesh color. All of that is super popular, and it just keeps every fall keeps coming back. Even through the summer, they're using those colors, and I am so sick of it. I don't like those colors. I like jewel tones. I like deep purples, royal blues. I like dark yellows.
I do too. See, I like all the pale
garnet, red. You know, I want those deep colors. And the hair, it's like pulling teeth to find those colors around here.
Yeah, you can't hardly find them. I don't like all the nudes.
No, me either.
I'm not a real big pastel.
No, me either.
Per se person, but
no, I want color. I feel like with my skin tone, the color just looks better on me. So I'm always looking for those. So a lot of times I go to Country Closet because I can find things in color there, or I order online. Yeah. And I specifically search for something by color.
I went into Two Glitzy Girls the other day, and I bought this cute little cardigan.
Yeah, that is super cute. She had a bunch of them.
Oh, did she? Yeah, Two Glitzy Girls had a lot of
yeah, I buy some stuff there too. The shirt I had on last week, I bought there.
Okay, so
those are great colors.
They're great colors.
Not everyone carries color.
No,
that's good.
And, Amanda had, what was it she had? Oh my gosh, I got a black one. Oh, I actually, in another episode, I'm going to wear this really cute black. It's not really a leather jacket, but it's kind of that jean jacket. 'Cause I'm a jean jacket freak.
Oh yeah, me too.
And But yeah, no, she had all sorts of beautiful fall stuff in
Okay.
there. So yeah, I bought some stuff in there the other day. But I am really excited about another thing.
What? Can I guess what you're going to say? Are you going to say Pip and Kate's fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I saw the local store, Pip and Kate, she put something on Facebook like her fall, she's getting decorated for a fall in there. And I haven't had time to go in, but I seriously want to.
Yeah, Pip and Kate is
Okay, that wasn't what you were going to say.
That's not what I was going to say.
Go ahead then.
I turned the corner. Eagle Station's open downtown.
Oh, are they open down there now?
2 doors down from the theater.
Oh, awesome. That'll be
2 doors down from Cutting Up Hair Salon.
Very convenient
you know who
for
owns
you.
Cutting Up Hair Salon? I do. Do you know who loves Eagle Station? No, beautiful sign.
Oh, does she have one?
Beautiful big sign over that Eagle.
Well,
Oh, it's
good.
fantastic.
Good for
Yes,
her.
I love it. I'm getting excited. Jim and I had the kids yesterday, and we were looking for a new camper. And on the way back, we stopped at Pit Stop Cafe over in Clay City.
Yeah.
Very good food. Jill Lewis owns that.
Yes.
I would love it if Jill would. I've always been. I do Jill's hair, and she's kind of like she works a little bit in Onley too. I'm like, Jill Lewis, you really need a pit stop in Florida.
I wish she would. Okay.
She has beer battered French fries.
Oh, gosh.
Gosh,
Okay.
they're so good.
Years ago, I worked in Clay City, and I used to eat lunch there, and I had a ham and cheese sandwich, and I would dip it in ranch. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good that 25 years later, I'm still
You
talking
still
about
remember
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jill Lewis has Pit Stop Cafe. So Jim and I and the boys went. And the thing that's great about Pit Stop is like you go in there, and I was, my family's, the Franklins are all from, my mom's side of the family's from Clay City. Love Clay City, love Sailor Springs. Everybody knows that. And when you walk in there, it was like, hey, Steve Lewis was in there. Hey, Stacey, what's going on? My cousin Rod Franklin showed. I mean, it was just like literally
cool.
you're walking back in time when you go over there. It's not very big, but it's like, because my shop's been over in Flora. I had my shop over there for 18 years, and then I moved it to Flora. And but yeah, it's just like,
Sounds like Cheers.
It is. It's great. You should
Like sometimes you just need to go somewhere where everyone knows your name.
I'm like, it's not real big, and there's like 4 or 5 tables, but like they have the to go just to get the atmosphere of it. But as I was going through that, that big building's tore down. And so it makes me sad. I don't like to see buildings tore down. And so when I got home and I was looking at downtown Flora, I'm like, come on, Pete, let's build this up. Let's get this back. And when I saw Eagle Station sign, Pip and Kate sign was going, Stanford Marketing's going.
There's a new barbershop going.
A new barbershop's going in my old shop. Tammy's downtown, Tangles is downtown. Let's get the gym is there.
Yeah.
We have Angela's Florist.
And I went in Stanford Marketing this past week and got some really cute Flora Wolves, a hoodie and some t-shirts. So if you're needing like gear for your school, she had Clay City stuff in there, North Clay stuff in there. And,
Oh yeah. And candy.
Right. I
She's got all
did
that
not
fun
look at the
candy.
candy aisle. I walked right past.
Yeah. But and then we've got 2 glitzy girls. Yeah, we do not want Flora to end up like Sailor Springs and where Clay City's going. We've got to build up our downtown. Downtown's where it's at, people.
Yeah.
And the theater, I forgot to mention our blessed theater.
Yes.
But anyway, that was my plug. I just went in there. I'm like, you know what? We really need to be talking about businesses on this show.
Yeah.
Let's just start.
Yeah.
Or if those businesses would like to sponsor, by the way, Beth and Stacey, we would love that too.
You could also run a commercial during our show. So let us know if you're interested in that. Seriously, we would help set you up with that.
Heck yeah, we will.
And another thing, Tractor Supply Company
Yeah.
bought out Orscheln's. So now Flora has Tractor Supply.
Yeah. I always loved Orscheln's. I've never been into a Tractor Supply because I loved Orscheln's, man.
I did like
it.
Orscheln's. I'm not sure if I've ever been in a Tractor Supply. I feel like maybe Alney used to have one. Maybe I went in there one time. But as you can tell, I'm not somebody that regularly shops in a farm store.
Yeah, I'm not a farm store shop, but I love Orscheln's, so I would go in there. They always had like really neat outdoor stuff, and of course I go buy dog food and stuff and clothes. I bought Jack and Joanna a few little, some clothes in there, toys. They have toys. I did love Orscheln's.
I don't know. Does Tractor Supply carry a little bit of everything?
I don't know, but
Or are
Ty's
they
probably
more-
gonna have to look that up and find out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Excuse me, Ty.
I just need to go in there, I think,
Yeah.
is what. Because I did see where someone said they had like 60% off of stuff. Right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
They're probably clearing out some Orscheln's stuff.
Yeah, I wonder, but Orscheln's is still in business, right?
In other towns, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't
I don't know. Interesting. But anyway, that was my shopping spree the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eagle Station, downtown Florida, she's open now.
Okay.
Let's start hitting it.
Yeah.
I want to see some walkers
Yeah.
down there.
Do we have an ad today? We always start off with an old ad from the past. What do we got?
You know, and I haven't got any. I'm not in my Better Homes. I'm starting to look for some other magazines. So you know, we found all those newspaper articles. So once again, it is an ad from a Flora newspaper article from I think the 20s.
Okay.
Ty, you want to put that up there for me, babe?
Oh, here we go. Sale of new spring coats for Friday, Saturday, and Monday only. Okay, so what I'm saying about spring is it's cold. So obviously, whatever year this was, they knew it. She wasn't trying to wear a T-shirt. Every new wanted spring material and colors, some fur trimmed.
Yum.
From $9.75 to $24.75.
Well, by the look of her, this is a 1920s ad. But the style shop, what's that say? You got the good eyes. Flora's only exclusive
ladies ready-to-wear store. So 120 West North Avenue. Which building would that be?
120 West North Avenue. That's on the opposite side.
What was your shop number? At your old shop?
Gosh, can you believe I can't even remember now?
You were only there forever.
Right in there. I was only there for 17 years, so I can't remember my address. 113 West North Avenue was what I was.
So it would be even further west, closer to Dairy Queen.
Yeah. But I don't ever remember the style shop. And
no,
MR,
this is from the 1920s, so I'm betting that it was not there for probably a real long time. M.R. Winterman, proprietor.
See, and in any of our research, have you come across any Winterman?
No, I do not know of any Wintermans, but apparently there was one here, and he ran a store. He ran a clothing store,
the style shop.
Wonder
if it was a man or a woman.
Well, I'm going to say it's a man.
Man because of the initials. Yeah, coats. I love that outfit, though. It's so cute. I love the 20s.
Yeah, I like her shoes.
I'm
not sure why she has a walking stick, though, like a cane or a walking stick. I don't know.
Yeah, the hats is what I'm really digging.
Oh, yeah, the hat.
You know, though, do this thing, because, you know, like, it seems like the 80s always comes around, and the 90s. Do you ever think that really, like, the 20s style, the 50s, nobody's ever brought back the poodle skirt?
Yeah, no.
Do you really think, because, you know, they always say everything keeps evolving.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, I don't know either. That's kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah,
because I don't know if
some things just don't come back. Like the poodle skirt, I think maybe skirts came back, you know, for that shape of skirt maybe a little bit at some point, but I don't know. Now
that I've said that, I think like in the 80s, the 20s did come back, because, you know, that long with then like the little bow right here. So I guess the 80s did have some 20s feel back into it. But let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come right back with By the Way with Beth and Stacey.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more.
Oh yeah,
Give me all your guns, too.
John Lucas,
What?
you better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Okay, welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We have a fun show planned.
It's a very interesting
We always say
show.
that, but it is interesting.
It is interesting.
We're going to talk about old jailhouses.
We're going to talk about the jailhouse that I really am talking about today is the one that is standing now, and it is in Louisville.
Yes.
And it's now a historical museum. Mm-hmm. But it is actually the third jailhouse that was in Clay County. The reason why I'm focusing on this is because it's the first really built structure. The other jailhouses were, log cabins and that type of thing. But this, I've always found this building very interesting.
Oh, me too.
Yes.
Yeah. So can I tell you a quick story about it?
Sure.
So just to set the scene for the people that aren't from Clay County that watch our show, this is like a 2-story brick building that sits on a square in Louisville, which is a brick street square, one-way square. You have to go around the square the correct way unless you just won a big basketball game, and then you get to go around backwards.
Wow.
Anyway, I would drive by this place when I was in high school, and at that time they had these mannequins and dolls.
Some of them are still there.
That they would try to make it look kind of creepy. So even though it wasn't open and there wasn't like a haunted house in it, each window had a mannequin in it. Mm-hmm. And when you went by there at night, it was super so creepy.
It is super creepy.
It was super creepy.
And some of those are still in there. It's very intriguing.
Yes.
But what always caught my eye, I always knew that it was the old jailhouse. It was built in 1893.
Oh, wow, that long ago.
1893 is within. This is the third one, but it's actually the first structure that was built to house criminals. And I always thought it was an old jailhouse. Why would they build it in a beautiful Queen Anne style building? Okay, why do criminals need to live in the house that I would love to live in?
Back then, everything was beautiful, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Queen
they
Anne
didn't
style.
make plain buildings.
No, it was like beautiful Queen Anne. Ty, let's show some pictures so people will get an idea of where we're at here.
Yep,
yes,
there it
look
is.
at this.
Yep.
Queen Anne style, beautiful spindles. The woodwork in it is absolutely fantastic. Of course, I love that you know.
I can still see one of those mannequins.
Oh, she's up there. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's right over the front door.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Let's show some more pictures of it, Ty. Look at the spindles. They're beautiful.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
The front door is absolutely gorgeous.
I love how the windows are arched at the top, like the transoms are rounded.
Yeah, and like you still have the skeleton key to get inside. I think I've got a few more pictures of it because I think and then you got the back part, which is barred.
Oh, I've never been around
That's
back.
right. You probably, but they still got the beautiful spindles on top. But then you've got the back where it's.
Wouldn't this be cool if someone turned it into a home?
Well, it would be super cool. And do I have any more pictures of the actual? Okay, so let's just go back to the. Okay, so anyway, so I'm wondering there had to be a method to the madness here. Mm-hmm. Well, there was because back in the day, the front part of the house is where the sheriffs lived. So the sheriffs lived in that front part. That was their home.
Okay.
And then in the back part, a 2-story and the basement was where the actual cells are.
Okay.
So I called John Baylor up the other day, and I'm like, John, I said, hey, can you get a key to I want to go in that house, that museum.
The jail.
The jail. And he said, yeah, I'll get a key. So John and I went up last Monday and went in there, and we walked around this entire place. And it is, right now it is owned by the Clay County Historical Society. And I would love to see somebody who's got the finances to be able to take this on and open it back up, because it actually, the museum, I took pictures, but I didn't take pictures because there are things in there that are beautiful. And but it would be glorious if somebody would take on this structure and redo it. She's solid as a rock, just like anything that would be built in 1893. You're talking 2 layers of bricks. It's not going anywhere. And but yeah, it would be but it is owned by the Clay County Historical Society. But just like everything else, these people get older and they pass away.
Right.
There's only one member left. There's only one member left of that society. So what happens whenever that member's, and so nobody's taking care of it anyway. So either the county needs to, so it's actually owned by the county or the city or
that's
somebody
so
needs
sad.
to. It is. It's actually went on the historical marker in 1998. It went on the register.
Okay.
But the beautiful thing about this is the very first resident was the sheriff named Wilford would you say? McElyea. He was the sheriff in 1890. So in 1890, he was the sheriff, the first sheriff. Okay, and not the first sheriff. I'm sorry, the first sheriff to live in this house. So he was the sheriff in 1890. The house was built in 1893. So he got to live in this beautiful, beautiful structure.
Cool.
Okay, so let's show some pictures of.
And he probably brought his family with him. I wonder how they felt about that. Like,
I don't know. It makes you wonder.
The prisoners are in the back. Like, as a wife, I would be a little nervous
because you walk in and it's like this house, and I can't remember. So there's the kitchen. So you just got this.
Oh, yeah, cute.
So this and everything's still in there. So this is the kitchen. So you got a family. And they had lots of families back then. So this is the kitchen that's still there, which I'm digging those cabinets. By the way, they're metal. It's awesome. But so that's the kitchen. You know, let me show some more before. Don't actually show the pictures of the actual. There's their a stove that they cooked on, which was really cool. Then there's a modern, but they've kept that old stove right there. You know, there's a modern stove in there. Show more, not the actual jails yet. Let's just keep. Because I didn't take a lot of pictures because, like I said, they're all beautiful things. But it had like a beautiful living room, and it had an upstairs with like bedrooms in it, and all this like just like an old home. And then John and I were walking through this back part. We went down in the basement. And John went down the basement. I didn't go first. And he was down there, and he was like, you need to come down here. I said, I'll just let you take it. He's like, come down here, you big chicken.
Oh,
so
my
we went down
gosh.
the basement. And I don't know if they'd had a haunted house in there, but when I walked down, there's a ginormous Frankenstein mannequin. There's another mannequin laying over like, I'm like, okay, did they have
Did it have like a knife or something?
Yes.
That's one that used to be in the window. As you drove by, there was like a guy like this in the window.
So you're telling me, so there wasn't a haunted house there. They just put these scary mannequins. Would you remember Frankenstein being in the window?
No, but I mean, maybe he was, and I didn't realize it was him.
Well, there were several mannequins just laying around the basement.
And then the thing about the mannequins is they didn't push them right up next to the glass. They were back just enough that it was more like a silhouette. And when you turned that corner around the square and your headlights hit those windows, sometimes you could make out details, but mainly to me, maybe I needed glasses, but it just looked like silhouettes in the windows, like that were like trying to get out.
Yeah. Well, because they're all down in the basement. And John was like, "Come down here." I'm like, so I'm going down these stairs, which you don't think, you don't know if they're really going to be good stairs. And he's like, "Yeah, there's a cell down here." And then we went back in there, and I just stuck my phone in there and took a picture of it, and because I didn't want to go in there, I was hoping I'd see some orbs or something. I did get a weird piece of light, and I'll show you that later. But anyway, he was like, "Oh, this is not a cell. It was all blocked off, so like anybody wanted to break into the house to like break their friends out." So it wasn't actually a cell where they held people. But so the basement's super creepy with all those mannequins. So we make our way back upstairs, and then we come up, and like when you come up out of the basement, there's another door there. I'm like, where does this door go to? And I open up the door, and it's where they held the bad people. So you got this beautiful old door that they could lock, and then a huge, awful metal door. Ty, can you? Yeah, there it is. There's that picture. So, so the family's in there eating dinner. And then you see that scruffy old door right there to that. That's the heavy, super duper metal door.
Wait, and which door? Is it the brown one in the background?
Not the brown one, no.
That white one that's on the left,
white one,
that's kind of open?
Cream color. And you see like there, and there's also a cutout in the window. Apparently that opened up so like they could just open up and see.
Oh, I see it. Like a little trap door inside the door. You probably passed food or something back there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
you would walk back, and so this was a safe place for the sheriff to walk back. So, but it's just crazy to me. Like, yeah, I opened that door, and I'm like, because you can see to your right, the pretty white, that's where the other door went to. And then I was like, holy cow.
So it's like you walked into the back of this house, and it was like you completely felt like you were in a different building.
Once you open the pretty white door, and then there's this hideous door right there. And you open it, and heavy. So we walked on in there. And that piece of furniture you see right there is a beautiful piano.
Oh.
A spectacular piano.
Looks a little bit dusty.
Everything in there was a bit dusty.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now let's show me another picture of what we took in there. So, okay, these are the cells. So after you walk back into that, what you walk into, and there's all these, that is one of the jail cells. And one of your fun mannequins is sitting in there still. So I don't know who the weirdo was that went through here. You see him sitting in the chair?
Yeah, I see him.
So like you walk in, and one area is open, so you have the steel door, then you walk into this area, and you could actually walk around, but then the prisoners were all barred up, so that door locked, but then you would open that door and then you'd walk in and there were 2 cells and four inmates were in each one, so 8 men were in that little corridor.
Gosh.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this on the outside, it looks like somebody could buy that and make it a beautiful home, but who could live with this other part of the house?
That's
right.
So,
you couldn't.
That's,
and I don't know how the wives of the sheriffs knew that this was if someone, I would go to sleep at night and be afraid someone was breaking into my house to break out their friend,
right,
and hold a gun to my head and say, you go open the door.
I guess that's the whole purpose of that ginormous steel, because you had that big steel building and then you had the open area, and then so you'd walk back and then you had the cages, the cells. I don't know. I think, but I've always felt the same way about people who live in funeral homes.
Yeah.
But when you're in a funeral home, you don't have to worry about the person. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, nobody's coming in to break out a dead person and put a gun to your head and say, give me their body.
Yeah. See, because that's what was interesting about what John and I were talking about. Because when you go in this hallway, so to your left is the scary part of it, and then you go down the basement. So the family had a basement that they could utilize. That's why that one fake cell with the metal door was there with metals on, because anybody could break through their and come into the house. So you actually had to protect the house too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anybody could have come up through the basement. That's why and it was almost like a jail. I'm because John was I think there's a jail cell back here. And then after we looked at it, he's like, oh, wait a minute, no, this is for people not to. Because it was just
so empty. It basically surrounded the good part of the house, so that they would, if they broke into the basement, they only ended up in a cell.
If somebody managed to break through that basement door, that basement window, which it had bars on it too. That they
wonder if anyone ever did that. Can you imagine waking up and going down to the basement and being like, oh, we caught one. There's one back here in the cage.
Right? Like a mouse in a trap?
No kidding.
But the crazy thing about it that I thought about, and I've got a lot more pictures we'll discuss here in a little bit, but the crazy thing about it is that the rest of the house that the family lived was not protected. There's no bars, so what stopped any from just breaking into the... I don't know. I guess maybe because it was the sheriff's house.
It. But I'd be afraid somebody would come in the front door and put a gun to the head of the sheriff and his wife and be like, go let my friend out or I'm going to kill your wife.
Right? Yeah.
I think as a family it would be hard to sleep there. But
well, I think it would be too. But we're going to take a quick commercial break and come right back with more of the 3rd Clay County Jailhouse.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's the weekend, and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow, Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Hi, and welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We're having such a good time today. And, oh, gosh, someday we need to do a behind-the-scenes
Oh, my gosh, really?
episode. Yeah.
Do you think?
Maybe give them a sneak peek of commercial, what happens here. We get to talking, and it's like we need to save some of this for when the cameras are on, because I was just thinking about how sound carries in that jailhouse.
Right.
So just imagine... You got some criminals in the part that's all where the cells are, and they're back there. They probably had foul language, and they're talking to each other, or they might be hollering for food or supper, or I'm freezing, or turn the heat up.
Yeah.
You treat us awful.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
It makes you wonder how it was.
Yes. And then in the front of the house is the wife and her children and her husband who's going back and forth. But can they hear all of that?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Do you raise your kids in a home where they hear this language and see this behavior? What?
Well, and the other thing about it is like sometimes like the inmates would just be out loose and they graffitied the walls. Did I send any pictures of the graffiti? It was kind of.
What do you mean they were out loose?
Well, sometimes they like that area, like you'd let them
where
out of
the
their
piano
cell,
was,
where the piano was at. They would actually be able to, because you just couldn't keep them in the cage. They weren't in solitary confinement. I probably did not send a picture because it was pretty graphic and not very nice.
Okay.
And so
so they would go out into that area, more like a living room type of area.
And so like when they got out to, because you're talking some serious, you're talking the murderer of Mr. Doris. You're talking Elsie Bible was in this place, because they had men's and women's. I'm going to show you the difference. They had men's and women's quarters. You're talking Amy Campbell was there. Think about all the people who have murdered.
How many cells were there total?
4 men, 4 women's.
Okay. And you said each cell held how many?
4 inmates, and I'm going to show you how little it was. Yeah.
Okay. So 4 times 4 would be 16 men and 16 women, possibly.
Possibly in this.
How many jailers did they have? And if they surely didn't let them loose all at the same time into that living area, right? They didn't have jailers, just the sheriff?
Think the sheriff was the only one.
How did he know they wouldn't overpower him?
I don't know.
I have so many security questions. I need answers. Keep going.
Let's show another. So now I took this next picture is of the 2 stories. So I'm down below. And this is the outside. So then there's a staircase, and then you'd walk upstairs. So there's 2 jails down, 2 jails up. That's the men's area. And, it's just really, so like you're basically just like walking the.
This all seems so big. But from the outside, that building's not.
It's not when you get in there, because, Ty, let's show another picture of one of the inside of there they are. That's the inside. So that other cot came down. And so, and then just right across the street, I mean, really, John and I were in there, and so I was like, I walked 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, to the next 2 sets of cots. That room is literally no bigger than somebody's bathrooms. And that piece of paper says that's an original blanket from when the building was built. That blanket right there. And it is scratchy and itchy, and I am too pretty to go to jail. I would never go to jail.
Yeah, that's all that's keeping me out of jail some days, I think. Yeah. I don't look good in orange or stripes.
So, and it's that you can see, like, you're just laying on that still. Yeah, that's one bunk is up, so it's literally, And then what other pictures did I put in there? I think that's where they went to the bathroom.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you see the jail cell that's a little bit open? So from where the potty's at, and then that still bar or the jail or the bars around that, like the jail or the sheriff could walk like around that area. So you're literally talking. These people they're in cages.
They had no privacy to go to the bathroom.
No, and they literally pottied
into that hole.
Into that hole.
So there was no seat.
No.
So if you had to do number 2, you squatted.
You squatted and you tried to hit that little hole. Yeah.
What a big,
they're
nasty-
murderer. They're nasty people. They're murderers. See, I don't have a problem with it because I don't have that.
Whose
in
job
me.
was it to go in there and clean that area?
Well, it went right into the sewer system apparently, or how they do sewer systems back in the 1800s.
Well, you can't tell me that these people cared that it really went into the hole.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't.
They probably wanted to leave a mess for somebody to clean up.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't
then
know
who
how
did
that
it?
worked. I don't know.
So many answers.
So
many questions. No answers. All
But yeah,
right.
that's where they went potty.
Okay.
Okay. So now, but like I said, they're bad people. They're murderers. So who
See
cares?
that stuff on the wall? Do you think that's like
I
nasty?
knew you were gonna go there. That's where they
Like-
took the hose.
Like that's like urine that's been not
Who
cleaned up.
knows? Who knows? I don't
I need
know.
to get some DNA on that, please.
We need. Oh, can you? Oh my gosh, I can't even fathom.
All right.
Next picture, please. Because I think. Oh, this is the ladies. The
Oh, look at
ladies
that.
have toilets.
They have a toilet.
So the ladies only had two. So not that. Okay, so you just corrected me. The ladies only had 2 bunks. So there were 4 cells.
Oh, okay.
So only 8 ladies could be there.
Okay.
So you had
But
men.
back to that men's bathroom. Are you sure that wasn't a hole that a toilet connected to?
No, they didn't have toilets.
Okay.
There is no pipes. There's no, and that's what John said even too. He said, no, that was what they.
Okay.
There is no-
I mean, it was in
Yeah.
disbelief. Go ahead, back.
No,
to
it's not
thank you.
because the ladies did have toilets.
Okay. All right.
They even had some nice decorations.
They did.
But yeah, well, I mean, it's got like the little thing around the bottom of the toilet and the nice little fuzzy toilet seat lid cover.
Oh, yeah.
But
when
yeah.
was this jail stopped being? When was the last year of use?
The last person in 1984. The last sheriff.
Oh my gosh, that was in my lifetime.
Yeah, the last sheriff to live there was Willie Thompson, and his family lived there from 78 to 84.
Okay.
And 84 it was then in 84 it was kind of turned into that museum type thing. And
So Willie Thompson was a sheriff, and then later he was the police chief at Flora.
well, it was yeah, Willie Thompson was a sheriff.
Because he's the one. Isn't he the one that's in the Is We Is video?
Yeah, that's Willie Thompson.
But at that point, he was the chief
He was
of
the
police.
yeah, I don't know. He was the sheriff.
Okay, because he wasn't the sheriff. That video was in '87.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
Just getting my facts straight here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how
84 they
so
quit
and
using
here's
that.
the other side. So the ladies and I took a picture of the other side. That's the other jail. So they actually had a sink to be able to wash their hands. So 2 women were in there. So
Bless
you
their
just
hearts.
so let's just
I know they
think.
were horrible, awful people, and they not all of them probably were though. There were some people that were probably in there for very small crimes, and I feel bad for them.
I don't do crime.
I don't do crime either, but it's like, what if they were?
Well-
what if they were innocent and they were there? I
Yeah,
don't know.
well,
I just kind of
no. Sorry,
I can't. I need to not feel bad for them.
I don't have it in me. So when we show this next picture here, so this is This is where you go up to the ladies. So the ladies were upstairs, right? Okay, so this is the stairway that you would go to the ladies upstairs where their jail was at, and so I guess there were only 2. So only 4 ladies. There were only 2 women's upstairs. These are the exact same stairs that Elsie Bible walked up.
And Amy Campbell.
Picture Elsie Bible, the woman that was the serial killer from Clay County.
Yep, there she
walked
goes.
up those stairs and laid in one of those beds that we just looked at.
Ooh.
A serial killer.
Oh my gosh.
And a crazy Amy Campbell that ended up going to the nut house.
Yeah.
But think about all the people, and it makes you wonder how many women. I would love to know this. And
Were
if anybody
housed there?
Yes. How many female criminals did we have in that time?
Oh, I bet we had a lot more than what we've even touched on.
Probably touched on.
Yeah.
But I just find that when I was up there, I'm like, I was told John, I said, oh my gosh, I'm walking the exact same stairs that Elsie Bible walked up to go into her jail cell. I
Yeah.
told John, I said, which one do you think she, He was like, I don't know, why don't you go in there and lay down? I'm like, no, you'll shut me in there.
See if you get some vibes.
I looked at when John and I were walking through there one time. I said, and by the way, my husband knows I'm here. Do not lock me in this place. And I was like, I had my phone on me, make sure
he would never.
He would never do that, but he just laughed.
Yeah.
He thought that was funny.
Well, I do think though, even though I feel a little sorry for some of the people that I really shouldn't, because I think that if more jails and prisons were like terrible conditions like that, it would maybe curb a little bit of.
Well, you wouldn't want to go back.
No, people wouldn't. And
No,
right now I think
it's-
there's people that do crime just to go back because they have it so good.
Absolutely. Yeah, now it's like they get all their medical and their dental, their eyes, they lift weights, they go to school, they become lawyers.
Yeah.
They have heat, they have air conditioning, they have food.
Yep. So
we need to
make
you
it
got to be
harder
hard
on
on if it's soft.
What else do you have on the jail, or should we move on to our next little side story?
Was that all I had? I think that's all I had. Yeah, but
Well,
I just thought it was fantastic. I just thought
I'm
it was
super
very
sad I
interesting.
couldn't go with you that day because
Yeah,
I really
know.
wanted to. I was invited, but I had,
You probably would not have liked it because it was hot in there. I
Oh.
told John, I said, Beth, he's like, is she coming? I said, no. I said, but honestly, she probably, because it was one of them hot days and it was steamy. I don't think you would have liked it. And then you wouldn't have liked it. And we went upstairs, the sweat just poured off me because it was like 10
I'll
degrees
go back
hot.
someday when it's a little cooler.
Yeah, he can get a key.
Okay.
Let's go back.
Well, I found a story
on why we have jails.
Because I didn't find a lot. Stacey already had all the information on the jailhouse, but so this is a very interesting story that there was actually some escaped convicts in our area. This has happened a couple of different times, but this one made massive news. This actually happened at Salem, which is in our viewing area.
Yep.
For those not from here, Salem's about 30 minutes, 20-some miles away from Flora. And there is a federal prison in Marion, Illinois, which is about an hour and a half south of here. And there were 5 guys that decided to escape federal prison. And the way that they did it is ingenious. And they probably have since then stopped doing this. But
well, exactly, because, what we were talking, the people would have never escaped Clay County Jail.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have these conveniences.
Yeah.
And 5 really bad men were wandering our area.
These men were cop killers. They had killed, one had killed 3 or 4 police officers.
Yeah.
One killed an FBI agent.
Kidnappers,
bank robbers. Like, they were serious business. That's why they were in a maximum security federal.
Marion's pretty. Wait a minute, Marion. Wasn't John Gotti? We've had some pretty bad criminals down in Marion, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think some gangster was it? Ty, can you Google that? I think it was John Gotti was in Marion.
Okay, yeah. There's
bad
been
criminals in Marion. Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was in Marion. Oh, I'm sorry. I just went way off that
there's
track.
been some serious bad people there. But
sorry. Keep going.
Anyway, that's where these 5 guys were, and they offered classes, of course.
Of course they offered.
I believe I'll take a class on electricity and what was it called?
Electronics. Yes,
So what did they do? They made a remote control that they designed to open the gates of their cell.
Literally walked out the front door.
They literally walked out the front door.
Yeah.
They beep, beep. Oh, the gates opened. Us 5, they made a run for it, okay? And this was in 1975.
75.
Okay?
75.
So not really that long
Wasn't
ago.
that long ago.
A lot of you will probably remember 1975.
Do you know that in prisons they take cooking classes, they take barbering classes, they literally can take.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
got
these guys took this class. They made these remote controls, and they were now fugitives on the run, and they made it to about Salem, Illinois.
Yeah.
Was where the main search area was.
Yeah, so they made it. They made it an hour and a half north.
They made it pretty far north. I don't remember.
I'm going to stop you real quick, and we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with escaped fugitives.
Yes.
In Clay County, Marion County.
Yes.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Pegel's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Pegel Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Royal King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Royal King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
And welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We have been discussing some escaped convicts. And
why wouldn't you on a Tuesday morning?
Right. And, exactly. So these 5 guys escaped federal prison in Marion, and they made it just a few miles from the prison, and they broke into someone's house.
Yes.
And they put a gun at them and said, they tied them up, I believe, and they stole their car, their shotgun, and a rifle. So now they're armed. They have the car and they have 2 guns.
One gentleman, whenever he was caught, he actually had a thin wire on him that he used as a garrote.
Mm-hmm.
What's a garrote?
I wasn't going to mention that because I didn't know what that meant.
Garrote.
Yeah, I don't know. Ty can look it up.
Ty can look that up. Well, that's why we have Ty here.
So how they ended up in Salem was that they drove this stolen car to Salem, and that is where it was spotted going down Main Street in Salem.
In Salem.
So then that gave way to a chase. It was immediately radioed in. We have the car. Here they come. It's the middle of the night. They're driving through Salem.
Let's talk about how big this was. We're talking they had the FBI, sheriffs, state police.
Oh, yeah.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Spotter helicopters.
Oh, yeah. Helicopters. The dogs. Everybody was here.
I mean, it's literally like something I just got chills because how cool.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to say how cool, but, you know.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
It's a wire or cord they used to strangle someone.
Oh, it was a wire or cord used to strangle someone is what they had, the one man had. But anyway, so they are spotted going through Salem. Lights start flashing behind them, and they're like looking in the rearview mirror like, oh, crap, we got cops behind us, so they start running.
Yeah.
So high-speed chase ensues, 90 miles an hour through Salem.
Can you imagine?
Into the countryside of Salem. Okay? 5 miles east of Salem, which I'm betting is right around that ice cream place.
Iuka, because they actually shut the Iuka schools down.
Yes. But I think it was, well, it doesn't matter. But anyway, okay. So he crashed ran through the yard of a house, a rural home, hurtled down an embankment, and crashed through a fence. So they wrecked the car. Mm-hmm. The guys all just run for it. Jump out of the car. Everybody starts running. Except for one man.
Little guy.
He was probably put in the middle of the back seat and was the last one out.
He got caught right off the bat.
He was a little slow. And his name was Arthur Mankins of Germantown, North Carolina. He had been serving a life sentence for killing an FBI agent. He was slow getting out of the car, and he was arrested at the scene. He refused to make a statement. So still on the run were Ed Roque, 39 of New York, Henry Gargano, 43 of Chicago, Dennis Hunter, 26 of Salem, Ohio, and Maurice Filion, 40 of Oakland, California. So now there's 4 guys,
and they
are loose in between Salem and Iuka.
And they are armed.
They are armed. So the police announced to all the citizens, hey, you might want to leave your home for a few days, take care of what you need to, and get out of the area. Yeah. Most people did leave, but there was one family, and their name was, let's see the story.
Is it Peggy and Larry?
Yeah, Peggy and Larry. Mm-hmm. And
Stormont from Iuka.
Mm-hmm. And, so they took their kids into town to Salem to stay with Grandma.
This is a great story.
And they went back home. And Mrs. Stormont said, I just sat there all night wondering exactly what I would do if they came. And then when they actually did come, she got really shook up. So she was sitting near the front door. And when they got home, they turned off all the lights in their house.
1 o'clock in the morning,
1
right?
o'clock in the morning. She's sitting at the front door with a shotgun. Her husband's sitting at the back door with a shotgun, looking out onto their acreage.
And what's he say to her? If anybody tries to come in this house, shoot.
And she didn't want to have to do it, but she said she would have shot them if they came through the front door. So she's sitting there. Husband gets up to go get a cup of coffee. He's in the kitchen screwing around. And she's sitting there. She's sitting there, and she sees the two men in the moonlight.
Dancing in the moonlight.
No light other than the moon.
Oh, can you imagine?
Sees them walk through her front yard up to her door.
And these are murderers.
Yes.
And bank robbers.
And she's sitting there with her shotgun, loaded, ready to go. She was about to blow their head off, and the dog barked, and the dog took off. Or the dog barked, and the men took off. So they did not come through the door. And I'm sure if I was her, I would have been shaking.
I wonder what kind of dog it was, because I'm seeing in the scene in Hocus Pocus when the little bitty rat terrier runs the Sanderson sisters out of the devil's house.
Yep. The Stormonts immediately contacted the authorities on a citizen band radio, but police couldn't find them. And the Stormonts, and they may still be in the area. I don't know these people, but hopefully they don't mind that we're discussing it. But they said, we're pretty well secluded, so we knew this would be the perfect spot for them, Mrs. Stormont said. Most of our neighbors had gone into town, but we've got a lot of cattle here, and my husband didn't want to leave. So I stayed.
Great. I like it. Yeah.
So
because
anyway.
of their gumption.
Yes.
Because of their gumption.
Grit.
Their grit.
These people had grit.
These people had grit and gumption. They weren't going to let anybody take their stuff.
She said, I had 2 shells in my shotgun, and I knew I had 2 shots. And when I'm not shaking, I'm a pretty good shot. But anyway,
I love it.
They didn't catch him. So there's still 4 on the run. A little bit of time goes by, and there's a police officer in Salem, and he is looking up and down the tracks because he had a feeling like if they were going to be walking, like they would go along the tracks. And they were sitting in their car about 35 feet from the railroad tracks, watching the area. And then he decided he'd just get up and walk a little bit on the tracks, and he immediately saw Maurice Filion, one of the convicts, walking by. He says, "Hold it, police!"
I bet he sounded just like that,
I bet he did. And he said, he recalled later, I told him to stick his hands up, and he said, "Don't shoot, I'm alone." Okay,
there you go.
So Rose said he was by his side within seconds. He said the other cop held him while I walked up and handcuffed him. We asked him if he wanted it to. And the convicts, the first thing he said was, "Have you caught anyone else?" He wanted to know if any of the others had been caught. And the cops didn't really answer him. They just told him we don't want to talk about it. But as they were standing there arresting him, within a very short time, another one walks by, Ed Roki. But the funny thing is, that guy, he was going the other opposite direction. So they weren't together. Apparently, they had all split up after the 4 ran. They must have said, let's split. Yeah. Let's split up. And
north, south, east, and west, maybe that's how they just went, throw everybody off their track.
They were nasty, and one of the first things the cops said to them was, "Our shower works." Because they were so filthy dirty.
Oh, my.
They wanted them to take a shower.
Interesting.
Okay, so I'm trying to hurry because I feel like I'm running out of time.
You are a little bit.
But then they also the police went and searched this one house, and this is hilarious because the headline is "Pistol Packin' Preacher Puts Rifle Down." So there's a preacher out there in the country in his house holding a gun, waiting to see if these guys come to his house, and a car pulls in, and he's like, "Oh gosh, is this them?" No, it was just the police.
The police,
wanting to check on things. But okay, so now we're down to 2. There's still 2 on the run. So the next guy, he makes it to I think it's Iuka. Let me find out where he. I don't remember where
the one
he stole
boy
the
was
car.
from Iuka, Ohio. So
yeah,
maybe
no,
he was
Salem, Ohio.
Salem.
No, okay. So this guy, his name is Hunter. His last name was Hunter, and he went and stole a truck from a man named Bullhorst. Okay, in Farina, the grub house this old man named Henry Bullhorse, worked at the Grub House restaurant in Farina, and he got into his truck after work, and there was one of the convicts hiding in it, showed him a shiny object, which he believed to be a gun, and demanded that he was 79 years old, this old man, demanded that this 79-year-old drive him to Rantoul. It was then that near Rantoul, the old man realized the shiny object was actually a crescent wrench. So he fled, and he told him he was stopping for gas, but he fled. And then at that point, Hunter got away from the old man, but then jumped aboard a man named Mendoza's truck, and it was a semi-truck, and he climbed in the back where the bed is, and the man driving the truck didn't know it until a little ways down the road that the convict was in there. He made him take him to Chicago. But anyway, long story short, the cops finally caught up to this guy and captured him too. Okay, so then that one's captured. So then the only one left was this Gargano, and he was caught near Bloomfield in Greene County. So he had made it quite a ways too, and they were all very nice to him in Greene County. And apparently, the sheriff's wife wrote him a note and said, "Look at all the good you can do in prison."
Which is really weird because Gargano, he was the worst one of them all. He was serving 199 years for killing police officers.
Yeah,
isn't that weird?
And so he scrawled a message of thank you to this woman who had been so kind to him. Her name was Mrs. Byers, and he wrote, "In appreciation to the decent and humane treatment from all the people of the Greene County Jail, my particular regards to Marge Byers, whose interest and compassion will always be in my thoughts." Yeah, he had killed 2 Chicago policemen, was serving 199 years. So eventually they were all caught. But what a story that unfolded right here near our house.
1975.
1975. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine, like the bloodhound. I'm just like, you can hear the bloodhounds. Oh, yeah. It would have been terrifying.
Yeah. The helicopters were flying super low because it was summer and everything was dense brush. Yeah. And
that's kind of crazy.
For sure.
Okay. So let's talk about our inspirational quotes.
Okay.
This one is from John Lennon.
Oh.
John Lennon.
Okay.
When I was 5 years old, my mom always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. Oh. They told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they didn't understand life.
Ooh, wise words, John Lennon.
John Lennon. I like John Lennon. Yeah, he's got some. Yeah.
Yeah, I like John Lennon,
I like John Lennon, too. Shame that his life ended the way it did.
It did. That's so sad.
Yeah, I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they didn't understand life.
Good answer.
Yeah, happiness is the key to life. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
I'll agree with his mother. I mean, that is the key to life. Just be happy. Be content with whatever you have.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, it was very interesting stories today.
It was. Yes. So that
because in 75, I was 8 years old.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet. But I was close to being born.
The jailhouse, pretty cool.
Years away, but yeah, the jailhouse, very cool. The story about the men, you don't really think about things like that happening right here at home.
We don't.
But honestly, people, like, exciting things have happened here in Clay County.
Yeah. Oh,
exciting in good ways and exciting in bad ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it goes both ways.
Yeah. We've got life here. We do have life here.
We got a lot of stories, a lot of fun
Everybody
stories.
has a story.
That's right. All right.
We like covering them for you guys, but if you have an idea for a story, you can always send us an email at bytheway@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We're always on Wabash Catch TV, channel 100, daily at 11 a.m. Our new episodes air on Thursdays and Fridays, and then you can catch them on YouTube at any time.
Yeah.
On our YouTube
We're everywhere.
channel. Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. As always, we had a great time.
That's right.
We will see you again next time.
God bless you. Have a great day.